But let's get to the real awards. Let's
Right.
get to
Let's get to ours.
the second annual. Is this second or third?
I'm gonna crack on. I think it's our second.
Second annual PutMe Over Awards. The PutMe's. Doesn't really make sense, but we're gonna put over our favorite people that we thought tore it up in a weird 2020.
The following announcement has been paid for by the Put Me Over podcast.
So let's start from we'll start from the bottom and then go to the top. How's that sound?
Yes.
Yeah, it's way better.
All right. So, moment of the year as nominated by us. Let's see. Sting makes his debut. WWE moving into the Thunderdome. Undertaker retires. The man becomes the mom. And also, this category is hurt without fans. What would you guys think? I think I got it. Undertaker retires.
That's a good one.
I would use air quotes on that one.
I mean, yeah, retires, but the send off and then what they did for him at Survivor Series, I thought was tremendous. And then you had the Last Dance esque miniseries that they did. I thought that what they did for Undertaker was good.
What about you, Dick? What do you got?
There was only, I can only think of the four. I couldn't think of any more. But I did say earlier that I think this, like we saw with NXT and how their takeovers were, they were impacted without the fans. I think not having the fans definitely hurts this award because we're kind of like gauging really based off what we think might be the moment of the year or what one man may think might be a moment for all of us, and we're kind of gauging off that. So it's really hard without the fans. Having said that, though, WWE going to the Thunderdome wasn't really much of a moment for me. I think it was kind of a right call. Like they were innovative when it came to trying to keep the shows fresh. So I'm okay with. I think that's. It is what it is. Sting debut in AEW was a big deal because I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, same.
That came out of nowhere.
Which one is it, Dick? Which one is it?
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Brody Show.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go with the Brody Show because I think that was such an amazing show. Well, that's one of the best AEW shows they've done, and it's such a touching tribute. Like I walked away from that show like in tears. So I'm gonna go with the Brody Lee tribute show.
All right.
Moment of the year, Roman's heel turn, easy. Change the landscape of wrestling.
That was on the list.
Change the landscape of wrestling, and he's the head of the table.
I'm switching to you, Byron. Roman's heel turn for sure.
That's the moment of the year, easy.
Edge's debut was also.
Oh yeah, his comeback. That's pretty big too.
But it got watered down because of I think the feud with Orton. It didn't really help him in the long run.
Yeah, but Roman's heel turn, I think, shifted WWE as a whole.
Right.
At least
they should have done that years ago.
Exactly. All right. Faction of the year. We have the Dark Order, the Hurt Business, the Inner Circle, Legado del Fantasma, the Undisputed Era, Eddie Kingston's Family, Bullet Club, or Retribution.
I think this is easy. Let's just pick one for the sake of time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Let's do. I'm gonna do. The model of consistency. This was between two people, Hurt Business, because they had a big year, but I'm going to go Undisputed Era because model of consistency. You always know what you're going to get with those fucks.
I'm with you on Undisputed Era, but I got to go with the Hurt Business.
Ooh.
Came out of nowhere, right? After the Royal Rumble, kind of came out of nowhere. Now they have the US title, the tag championships, and I think they can only go up from here. I think it's only a matter of time until MVP gets the U.S. title and Lashley is holding the champion. They're going to hold all the gold. They're the gold standard.
Right.
They have the gold standard.
Well, Lashley's holding the U.S. title already.
Yeah, I know. But, do a figure poke of doom or something. But I just love the fact that they just got the Hurt Business going. 4 black guys that will destroy you if you look at them the wrong way. And that's how I feel whenever I see them. I'm scared of them because they're tough and they'll pour milk on you.
Yep.
Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna go with either of those two. Oh man, I don't because I honestly there was a lot of factions, but there weren't a lot of great factions in like something that's like that made me stand out. Like, oh man, this is like a dominant faction. Other really than the Hurt Business. I mean, I'm gonna go with Hurt Business on this one because just of how dominant they are and how dominant they should have been. Like this was something like Lashley should have been this dominant from the get go.
Yes, this is them righting their wrongs of all four guys involved.
They're righting the wrongs. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Tag team of the year. This one's gonna be hot because it's mostly AEW tag teams, because they're the only company that cares about tag teams. We have the Young Bucks, FTR, Omega and Hangman, Sasha and Bailey, Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish in the Street Profits. Street Profits won the Slammy Awards for their tag team for WWE. Byron, who was your tag team of the year?
This is tough because, damn, I don't like. It's not a fantastic year for tag teams, but I'm not gonna go Street Profits. I'm gonna go Sasha and Bailey for their overall impact on the company. I think they just they were the two women who led, well, along with a couple other women. But like I thought they had a great run as tag team championships, and it bled well into their singles runs.
I agree with that. I think Sasha and Bailey carried a lot of those pandemic shows, especially before they went to the Thunderdome when it was just a silent hall that they were in. Sasha and Bailey definitely were the MVPs of that. However, oh man, I like Omega and Hangman just because of the overall story, but I think tag team of the year, you got to give it to the Young Bucks. They're the current tag team champs, and I don't think they put on one bad match all year. And they've worked so many different teams and so many different styles. I'm gonna go Young Bucks on this one.
The tag team division in WWE is atrocious. I think that's something we can all agree with. It is it's terrible. NXT isn't that much better. AEW is really where the tag team division's at, and they have some of the best tag teams in the world. And I forgot to list
honorable mention.
The Lucha Bros. That's another one.
Lucha Bros. Jurassic Express.
Jurassic Express is another example. And AEW is loaded in the tag team division, so their division is just they're perfectly fine the way they are. You know, Hangman and Omega did have the tag champions for a while. They held the belt for a good portion of 2020, and they were part of some of the best tag team matches of the year. I mean, obviously them and the Bucks in the beginning of the year, and the Bucks just recently with FTR, which was one of the best tag team matches of all time. You could take your pick. Man, FTR just wasn't there long enough for me to say it. As much as I think they were great, but
huge impact on Arrival.
Their impact on Arrival was great up until the point they lost the belts, and then they're kind of floundering.
Agree.
I'm gonna give it to Hangman and Omega because they did have the tag belts for a while, so they were the dominant champions, even though they are a makeshift tag team. But they've proven that it can work. A makeshift tag team can work if you let them build, and there is an underlying story as well. That is one reason why I didn't pick them, because they were thrown together tag team. But you're right, they held the titles from 2019 into 2020.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. Let's move on to cinematic match of the year. This includes pre-taped matches. We have Undertaker versus AJ in the Boneyard match, the Elite versus the Inner Circle at Double or Nothing. That was a Stadium Stampede match, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. The Fiend versus Randy Orton at TLC. I guess the Money in the Bank matches are included in this too. Men and women, or the one Men in the Bank match. Cena versus the Fiend and Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman. That was the Swamp match. This one's tough. Dick, who do you pick?
There were a lot of cinematic matches in 2020. I mean, I'll say that.
Oh wait, you forgot the greatest wrestling match ever.
Yeah, that was a pretty damn excellent match.
That's another one as well. You know what's funny about that was they labeled it as the greatest wrestling match of the ever, but it didn't win. It didn't win match of the year in the Slammies.
That's what happens when you give stupid taglines to things that actually have actual.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was actually entertained. It was actually higher than what I expected. It was better than I expected because I went in there with kind of low standards.
Great
given
match.
that they called it. Yes, it was a great match.
Not
Definitely not the greatest wrestling match of all time, but it was a great match.
So who's in this one?
Whew. You know, I like the Stadium Stampede a lot. I really do. Even though it's, I haven't seen that since May. So that's 7+ months. The TLC match was definitely original. I mean, all these matches were obviously original. They had a lot of creativity to do. Undertaker versus AJ was phenomenal.
Which one? Which one? They're all good. They're all good.
It's hard. It's hard. Like that's why I'm like I'm gonna go Stadium Stampede. I'll go Stadium Stampede.
That's what I thought you were gonna pick.
You had the high spot at the end. You had Hangman in a bar. You had horses. Yeah. I'm gonna go. As much as I loved Cena and the Fiend for how weird it was.
That was good.
Undertaker versus AJ Styles. I went back and watched like 3 more times. So the Boneyard match for me is going to be just the feel of it, the vibe of it. Undertaker versus AJ Styles is my cinematic match of the year.
That's not a bad one either.
I'm gonna agree with you too, Drew. Only because that beats out the greatest match ever and Cena and Fiend because of the significance too, and it was fucking entertaining as fuck. And it had a bunch of Metallica mark out. So
yeah, for sure. And then you had the Undertaker riding up. It was the perfect final match, hopefully, for the Undertaker.
Right.
Match of the year: Walter versus Dragunov at NXT UK episode 116. The Young Bucks versus FTR at Full Gear. Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page at Revolution. Best Friends versus LAX Pride and Powerful at AEW. Okada versus Ibushi Wrestle Kingdom 14. The NXT Men's War Games match. Roman versus Jay. AJ versus Daniel Bryan versus Sammy in the ladder match. And Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly. What is going to be your match of the year? Or is something that is not on there?
I'll go first on this one because this was the hardest, I think. I want to give it to Okada Ibushi because those are my dogs, but I'm gonna go with Finn and Kyle. That was just, to me, that had me the whole time, and I thought that was Kyle's breakout, and excited to see New Year's Evil. But again, I think if Okada Ibushi was in the WWE, that'd be my number one. But Finn and Kyle.
If Okada was in WWE, that'd be your number one.
If that match was in in a setting for WWE, it'd be number one
with more eyes on it.
Right. Because Wrestle Kingdom, as great as New Japan is, it's in Japan, and it's a harder thing to align with.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Finn and Kyle.
I loved the Young Bucks versus Hangman and Omega. Man, this one's hard too. This one's really hard because I know there's matches on here that I'm not thinking of that I had a good time watching as well. So I mean, I'm gonna go with the Young Bucks versus Hangman and Omega. I thought that match, beginning to end, I was super invested in. I love, because I watch a lot of Being the Elite. There was a lot of storyline built in that as well. They got me on it. Finn versus Kyle is a very close second, though. I'll go with that. But Young Bucks and Hangman and Omega.
That was a hell of a match. Kind of spot monkey match, what Cornette would say, but yeah, good match though.
Yeah.
A lot of these matches on this list, Cornette would say, would be a spot monkey fest.
Yeah, but, absolutely.
That's just one man.
They didn't do any headlocks.
Jesus Christ.
Where are the rest holds?
Okada versus Ibushi at the beginning of the year. I mean, I can't believe that was still the same year, 2020. That's just how much the world's changed from March on. That was such an amazing match. I've said my praises about Walter versus Dragunov. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I think that's the WWE match of the year. You know what? This was definitely tag team heavy. From the list I've seen, this was definitely tag team heavy. I think I got to go with, you know what? I'm going to go Young Bucks FTR, because I think when I first walked into that match, I was thinking this was going to be such a letdown because it was so overhyped that there was just no way that they were going to live up to these expectations. And a lot of the expectations were by the fans. They, myself included, were thinking like, this is going to be the greatest match of all time. But also keep in mind that the Bucks also did the same thing. They posted a tweet several years ago saying that, watch, when we have this match, the fans are going to remember. And you know what? I was blown away by it because I didn't think they were going to pull it off. Given the circumstances, they pulled it off.
Yeah. I agree. Let's move on to female wrestler of the year. You have Hikaru Shida, Asuka, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair. A lot of nominations here. This one's probably the hardest because
I agree with you on that.
You look at what Shida's done in AEW. She's held the title pretty much all year. Io Shirai did not have a bad match. Sasha Banks and Bayley both, like we said earlier, were MVPs of the pandemic era. My vote is going to go. My vote's going to go with. Man, this one's harder than any of them.
This is the hardest category, easily.
I'm going to go Bayley. I'm going to go Bayley because her heel turn was this year. If I'm remembering correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that her and Sasha had a great feud. I thought Bayley was super dominant, longest reigning SmackDown champion. And I love how she is now. I feel like she just doesn't give a fuck anymore. She's just being herself even more than what she was being before. So I'm going Bayley, female wrestler of the year.
And then, I'm going to go piggyback on that. It was between her and Io because, like, again, Io is fantastic. One of probably the best, like, wrestler of the females, I think, especially for the year. She had the best matches, but character-wise, and we all thought Bayley was the fourth of the fourth best of the four horsemen, and this year proved she's, like, on level par. She's, they're all equal in my book. So yeah, she had the longest reign easily. Let's go with the Baby.
Oh yeah. Who do you got, Dick?
This is definitely WWE heavy. Obviously, she is the only non-WWE talent there, but it's definitely.
Yeah, what happened to her?
What happened to Rio?
I don't know. Like, once she lost the belt to Nyla Rose, she's been. I don't know if she's in Japan. If she went back to Japan, is she staying over there?
That could be it.
That I'm thinking that might be the case. I know Shida lives in Florida. She's been living in Florida since really AEW started.
She's there every week. Yeah,
she's there every week. So that's really a strong point for her. Another mention. I mean, man, it's definitely top heavy WWE. I would give it to. I can make the argument for really. Another person we might argue for is Asuka. I mean, ever since after Money in the Bank, she's kind of held down the Raw division.
Yeah,
I would have no problems giving it to Asuka as well. Like you guys said, Sasha and Bayley both. I mean, they were definitely one of the strongest. They were definitely MVPs of the quarantine shows. So, oh man,
Ding
you know
dong?
what? Who?
Yeah, ding dong. I'm sorry, that's just Bayley's new catchphrase.
I like it too. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Io.
Not a bad choice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Io because I think she's held it down in NXT. NXT is a much tougher division for the women compared to Raw, SmackDown, and definitely AEW for sure. So
are you saying Dana Brooke isn't high quality competition?
Neither is Lana.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I'll go first for the male wrestler of the year.
Yeah.
This one to me is a no-brainer, although the nominees are Moxley, Reigns, McIntyre, who you can make a good case for, Naito, Omega, Cole, Lee Orton. This is the easiest shit ever, guys. It's Roman Reigns. He changed the landscape of wrestling this year, and he's the biggest thing in wrestling, man, female, cisgender, bisgender, Zoom gender, X-gender, whatever. He's the best thing in wrestling, easily, and he'll probably be the PWI wrestler of the year. Or going on next year it would be, but yeah, Roman Reigns. I'll be right back to it. I gotta pee.
Okay,
go for it.
Roman Reigns is a great choice, one that I was heavily considering, but keep in mind he also wasn't around for a lot of the year. His strides have really been taken in the past 2 months, really. And then you have a guy like Kenny fucking Omega. And this is where I wish Byron was here to hear this, because I'm gonna go on. Sorry.
I think he did it. No, I think he did it deliberately. He did it deliberately.
Kenny Omega is easily wrestler of the year. Not only does he perform each and every week at a high top tier level, he held the AEW Tag Team Championships, and now he's the current AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And also, he's doing something that no one's ever done before by merging two companies that are in direct competition with each other against, I don't know what they're doing anymore. I don't even know what's going on. And nothing has really ignited the wrestling landscape and lit a fire under everybody than when Kenny Omega won the title and ran out with Don Callis and said, tune into Impact. That was a nuclear missile heard around the world. And that's why Kenny Omega is my wrestler of the year.
Like I said, I think Byron deliberately did that so that we would dispute his. I mean, I'm not saying that Roman is not.
Byron left to go pee.
I'm not disputing that Roman should be wrestler of the year. I think if he came back earlier in the year, I would give it to him. But he came back August, maybe September.
Ooh, you missed the promo of the cinch, dude.
What happened?
Well, my wrestler of the year is Kenny Omega.
Oh, okay, fake, but yeah.
Well, I don't want to repeat myself, but basically, in order to be wrestler of the year, you got to be there for at least most of the year. Roman missed it all. He really hit a stride in the last month or two. Kenny Omega was a tag team champion. He's now a world champion, and he set off a nuke when he announced to tune into Impact when you're going to see me go on there. You got the wrestling world talking. Kenny Omega didn't have a bad match all year. Kenny Omega is the wrestler of the year. Go on.
We'll talk about that after. But Dick, have you said yours yet?
Not yet.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean, as far as what Drew said, I mean, I can't really argue against it. I mean, Roman's the same thing as well. I mean, Roman's good. The only thing that Roman wasn't, I mean, he was gone a good portion of 2020. Kenny was there the entire year. Another person I think honestly deserves it, and he worked his ass off in 2020 to redeem himself, is John Moxley. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he's truly done. He was the AEW champion for all of for a good portion of 2020. He held it down. He was consistent. I mean, aside from his wife testing positive for COVID, he was there. He carried a lot of the shows. He did pretty well when he was put in that position. As far as being a top guy, what a top guy is, he's totally redeemed himself, and I'd be okay with giving it to Moxley this year.
Moxley is a great choice. One under a sleeper choice, I think, considering he was also the AEW champion.
Right.
I
That's
agree.
a very good sleeper choice. Drew would also be a good sleeper choice, but I think it's more on. Oh yeah, you're welcome, Drew. But yeah, I think we all have different picks. We'll leave it up to our people too, to see who they think.
I think if Roman was there longer in 2020, I'd be okay with Roman. It's just that he
100%.
came back in August.
Yeah, the biggest thing is though, I rate the impact of his sorry, I got distracted. Someone just texted me, "Will you ride my dick?" Which is weird. But the impact of his
I didn't mean to send you that. I was waiting until after.
The impact of his heel turn to me was big. Kenny is great. That's a super good argument, but it's easy when you do it in the minor leagues. But yeah, that's it.
Oh, all right. We're still doing that. Okay.
I think we're going to go as far as which has a bigger impact between the two. And
going to Impact makes a big impact.
Right. Yeah. In the trailer, let's shoot it.
That was a bus. All right.
Well, yeah, that's a compelling argument. I'm curious to see what our followers and listeners would want to see.
Yeah. If you guys have anything we left out, if you agree with us, disagree with us, please let us know on our Instagram at PutMe Podcast. You guys got anything to add before we get out of here? This is a supersized episode of the show this week.
Happy New Year. That's it.
Nothing.
Everybody take care of each other. Jesus Christ, all that stuff. And yeah.
Hello, Benjis. You guys
yeah.
Or what?
Buy or bottle. I'm almost out. I have a small supply left. And
put one aside for me, please.
Yeah, for sure. And then a side note, if there's any of our listeners who have any idea about how to start a liquor company or a brand for for liquor, DM please. I'm really curious. I think I want to start a liquor company. So,
Hey,
let me know.
I'll join.
Dude, yeah, we gotta fight. I gotta figure out the legalities and all the hoops you have to crawl through. But yeah, if there's any listeners who know or any insight, DM us, and then love to talk.
Put me over whiskey coming soon.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But thank you guys so much for listening, downloading, subscribing, joining us as we roll into the year 2021. We hope everyone had a happy new year. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, all that good stuff. We'll be back, next week, obviously, but we're really excited about what 2021 is going to bring to us, not only professionally, but personally as well. And I hope you guys set yourself some goals as well. Going forward, expect more content from the Put Me Over podcast. Thank you so much again. And don't forget, we are the new World Order Professional Podcasting, and we will see you next time.